Hello, I'm Rosemary, and this is Flossie trying to get a sweet off me. She's actually never ever allowed on the sofa, but I've brought her up here today because I wanted you to meet her because I think she's absolutely fantastic. She's my pride and joy, and also because she's kind of got something to do with the story today. Oh, yeah, I'm going to be reading you your bedtime story, which is Floss. When we when my children were little, we absolutely loved this book. So when we eventually got Flossie, we had to name her after Floss. But there's only one Floss in the world, so this one got Flossie instead. And Flossie actually came from a farm very close to where Floss lived. Kim Lewis, who wrote the book, also painted the pictures, and I'm going to try and show you as many of the pictures as possible. All right, because they really are something special. Floss was a young border collie who belonged to an old man in a town. She walked with the old man in the streets and loved playing ball with children in the park. My son is a farmer, the old man told Floss. He has a sheepdog who is too old to work. He needs a young dog to herd sheep on his farm. He could train a border collie like you. So Floss and the old man travelled away from the town with the streets and houses and children playing ball in the park. They came to the heather-covered hills of a valley where nothing much grew except sheep. Somewhere in her memory, Floss knew about sheep. Old Nell showed her how to round them up. The farmer trained her to run wide and to lie down, to walk on behind, to shed and to pen. She worked very hard to become a good sheepdog. But sometimes Floss woke up at night while Nell lay sound asleep. She remembered about playing with children and rounding up balls in the park. The farmer took Floss on the hill one day to see if she could gather the sheep on her own. She was rounding them up when she heard a sound. At the edge of the field, the farmer's children were playing with a brand new black and white ball. Floss remembered all about children. She ran to play with their ball. She showed off her best nose kicks, her best passes. She did her best springs in the air. "Hey, Dad, look at this!" yelled the children. "Look at Floss!" The sheep started drifting away. The sheep escaped through the gate and into the yard. There were sheep in the garden and sheep on the road. "Floss, lie down!" The farmer's voice was like thunder. "You are meant for work on this farm, not play." He took Floss back to the doghouse. Floss lay and worried about balls and sheep. She dreamt about the streets of a town, the hills of a valley, children and farmers all mixed together, while Nell had to round up the straying sheep. But Nell was too old to work every day, and Floss had to learn to take her place. She worked so hard to gather sheep well, she was much too tired to dream any more. The farmer was pleased and ran Floss in the dog trials. "She's a good worker now," the old man said. The children still wanted to play ball. "Hey, Dad," they asked, "can old Nell play now?" But Nell didn't know about children and play. "No one can play ball like Floss," they said. "Go on then," whispered the farmer to Floss. The children kicked the ball high in the air. Floss remembered all about children. She ran to play with their ball. She showed off her best nose kicks, her best passes. She did her best springs in the air. I hope you liked that. I hope you're going to have a nice night's sleep. I hope you're going to go and dream about parks and hills, maybe even about children and sheep. You might count some. So sleep well. Night night.